The first time I saw Queen Lithra, she looked like the most powerful being in the galaxy and the most uncomfortable. Her throne floated in the center of the massive crystalline hall of the royal palace on Aurelian Prime. The chamber ceiling stretched so high that clouds drifted lazily beneath it, illuminated by soft violet suns trapped within transparent spheres. Thousands of alien nobles stood silently in perfectly arranged circles around the throne. And in the center of it all sat the queen, Queen Lithra of the Aurelians. Her skin shimmered faintly like liquid silver. Her eyes glowed a calm sapphire blue. A crown of living crystal floated above her head, slowly rotating as if obeying its own gravity. She was magnificent, and yet she kept tilting her head slightly to the right, then to the left, then back again. Subtle, but constant. I noticed it immediately, which probably explains why I was the only person in that room brave or stupid enough to say something about it. My name is Daniel Harrow, human mechanical engineer, former repair specialist for cargo ships, currently the only human working on Aurelian Prime, and somehow the center of attention in a royal court. The ceremony had dragged on for hours. Nobles from different star systems presented their tributes: star metal sculptures, living nebula orchids, gravitational gems that bent light around themselves. Every time someone approached the throne, Queen Lithra maintained perfect composure. But that neck tilt kept happening. Tiny. Barely visible. Still, once you noticed it, you couldn't stop seeing it. When the last noble finished speaking, silence filled the hall. The court attendant announced in a booming voice, "Next, the human engineer assigned to the palace maintenance sector." I blinked. "That's me?" I muttered. A guard nudged me forward. "Move." "Great." "Just great." I walked toward the throne, my boots echoing across the glass floor while thousands of alien eyes watched. Queen Lithra leaned slightly forward. Her glowing gaze settled on me with curiosity. "You are the human," she said. Her voice was calm but powerful, like distant thunder rolling through a valley. "I am told your species is inventive." "Sometimes," I said. A few nobles whispered at my casual tone. I bowed awkwardly. "My queen." She studied me for several seconds. Then the neck tilt happened again. A quick movement. Left. Then right. I sighed before my brain could stop my mouth. "You know," I said, "your neck must be killing you." The room froze. Absolutely froze. Gasps rippled across the hall. One noble dropped the glowing orb he was holding. The guards immediately stepped forward. Queen Lithra raised one elegant hand. Everyone stopped. Her glowing eyes narrowed slightly. "My neck." I nodded. "You keep shifting it. Same pattern every few seconds." More whispers. The queen slowly touched the side of her neck. For the first time since the ceremony began, her perfect composure cracked slightly. "I have ruled this empire for 42 cycles," she said quietly. "No one has ever mentioned this." "That's because everyone here is terrified of you," I said. A few nobles looked like they might faint. Queen Lithra leaned back on her throne. "Explain." "Well," I said, stepping closer, "if I had to guess, the throne." Her eyes flicked downward. "The throne?" I pointed carefully. "That floating crystal seat? Looks beautiful. Probably weighs nothing. But the angle of the headrest is wrong." Silence again. "You're compensating by tilting your neck every few seconds to relieve pressure," I continued. Her eyes widened. "You noticed this from across the chamber?" "I fix machines," I shrugged. "And sometimes kings and queens sit in badly designed chairs." The court looked horrified. The queen looked intrigued. "Continue." I walked around the throne slowly, examining it like a mechanic inspecting a broken engine. "Yeah," I said. There it is. I tapped the rear crystal support. The alignment is off by maybe 3 degrees. The royal architect shouted from the crowd. That throne was designed by the greatest minds of Aurelian Prime. Sure, I said. But did any of them actually sit in it for 12 hours straight? Silence. Queen Lithra slowly straightened. Then she did something shocking. She stood up. Gasps echoed through the hall. The queen never stood during ceremonies. Ever. She stepped aside. Show me, she said. I climbed onto the floating platform, ignoring the guards pointing weapons at me. Relax, I said. If I break it, I'll fix it. I examined the crystal joints carefully. Sure enough, the pivot ring supporting the backrest had worn down slightly over time. Almost invisible, but enough to cause a subtle forward lean. I turned to the queen. Permission? She nodded. Using a small multi-tool from my belt, I loosened the support ring and rotated the backrest slightly. Then I tightened it again. Try it. The queen slowly sat down. Everyone watched. Total silence. 10 seconds passed. 20. 30. The queen didn't move. Her neck stayed perfectly still. Her eyes widened slightly. Then she slowly rotated her head left, then right. Perfect. No stiffness. No tension. Just smooth movement. A soft exhale escaped her lips. It is gone. The court erupted in stunned whispers. The royal architect looked like someone had stolen his soul. Queen Lithra stood again and faced me. You corrected a flaw in the royal throne within moments. Mechanical problems are mechanical problems, I said. Even royal ones. She studied me for a long moment. Then something unexpected happened. She smiled. The entire court gasped again. Apparently, the queen's smiling was rarer than solar eclipses. You have given me relief from discomfort I have endured for years, she said. That deserves more than thanks. I shrugged. Honestly, I'd settle for a decent meal and a quiet room. The queen laughed softly. It was a beautiful sound. You will receive far more than that. She turned to the attendants. Send a royal invitation. The hall went silent again. A royal invitation? To a human? Impossible. The attendant looked confused. To where, Your Majesty? The queen looked directly at me. To dinner. That night, I entered a private palace dining chamber overlooking the glowing oceans of Aurelian Prime. Only 2 seats waited at the table. One for the queen. One for me. Queen Lithra arrived moments later, wearing lighter ceremonial robes. Without the massive crown. Without the intimidating court presence. She looked different. Almost relaxed. Engineer Harrow, she said. Please sit. We ate strange but delicious alien dishes while discussing Earth, engineering, and life beyond the core systems. Eventually, she leaned back thoughtfully. You treated me today not as an untouchable ruler, but as a person with a problem. Everyone has problems, I said. Even queens. She smiled again. Especially queens. The conversation lasted hours. We spoke about technology, governance, culture. And slowly something unexpected happened. The queen stopped sounding like a ruler and started sounding like someone who rarely had honest conversations. Finally, she stood and walked to the balcony overlooking the glowing sea. I have advisors, she said quietly. Generals, scholars, diplomats. She turned toward me, but none of them speak with the honesty you showed today. That's because they don't want to lose their heads, I said. She laughed again. Then her expression grew thoughtful. I would like to extend an offer. Sounds dangerous. She stepped closer. I want you to remain on Aurelian Prime. As royal advisor? Not quite. She looked at the stars. I want someone near me who sees problems others ignore. Someone unafraid to speak. She looked back at me. A royal consultant. I considered the offer. former cargo mechanic, now advising the ruler of an interstellar empire. That was a ridiculous career jump. You realize I might keep pointing out things people don't want fixed. Her eyes sparkled. That is precisely why I am inviting you. I smiled. All right, Your Majesty. I'll stay. And that is how a human engineer accidentally became the most unusual advisor in the Aurelian Empire. But the real surprise came weeks later. During another royal ceremony, Queen Lithra sat comfortably on her perfectly aligned throne. No neck stiffness. No awkward tilts. Just calm authority. Then she addressed the entire court. Many of you believed the human's observation today weeks ago was disrespectful. She gestured toward me standing beside the throne. But I have learned something important. She paused. A ruler surrounded only by silence becomes blind. The nobles shifted uneasily. A ruler who welcomes honest voices becomes stronger. Her glowing gaze swept across the chamber. Therefore, I declare Engineer Daniel Harrow an official advisor to the crown. Gasps again. But this time they were followed by something new. Applause. Slow at first. Then louder. Because even the proud Aurelian nobles had to admit one thing. The queen looked more comfortable than she had in years. And all it took was one human brave enough to say, "Your neck must be killing you." Later that evening, as we walked through the palace gardens, Queen Lithra glanced sideways at me. "You changed more than my throne, engineer." "Oh, yes." She smiled softly. "You changed how I rule." I looked up at the stars of Aurelian Prime. Good chairs help with good decisions. She laughed again. And in that moment, beneath alien constellations and glowing crystal trees, the most powerful queen in the galaxy walked beside a human engineer, not as ruler and subject, but as partners shaping the future of an empire. And it all started with a stiff neck.